Hello. So, hi. Basically, I'm going to be kind of going over all the Spider-Man movies and explaining the stuff I like and don't like about them and kind of explain the characters and the villains and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. This is also kind of like focused like in preparation for No Way Home. So I'll probably be focusing more on like the plot of the Tom Holland movies, just like so you know what's going on. Yep. Okay, great. Okay, so assuming you know nothing, I'm just gonna start off by giving some basic information that just goes for every Spider-Man movie, no matter what franchise or whatever it's part of, or like whenever it was made. These are just like things that go for all of them. Okay, so first of all, who is Peter Parker and how does he get his powers? So he's basically just like this nerdy teenager. He's in high school and he gets okay. Peter always has a love interest. Always gotta have a little love interest, you know how it be. In the Tom Holland movies and in No Way Home, it's MJ, who I love Zendaya. And finally, the theme for basically every Spider-Man movie is with great power comes great responsibility, which is like one of the most iconic quotes from the original Spider-Man. And literally every remake of it, no matter what, it's always just that theme. Okay, so Tobey Maguire plays Spider-Man in the original Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 3. And here are some pros about how he played the character, about his movies. Okay, so first of all, I think he has the best origin story. It's just like Andrew's was sort of different because everyone kind of already knew who Spider-Man was, so we didn't need the full backstory, and Tom's was like not even an origin story. So his is definitely the best. I love Tobey's powers. They're the most spider-like out of all the Spider-Men, so I just love his very sad Uncle Ben scene. I know Andrew's movie has an Uncle Ben scene, but like nothing tops this one. Tobey's movies has some of the best villains, specifically in Spider-Man 1 and 2. Not so much 3, but like we'll get to that in a sec. This one's kind of stupid, but I just think that like the way that the movies like flow together from like 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3. It's just like a very nice storyline that's continued throughout the movies and it doesn't like restart at the beginning of every movie, which I love. Okay, so now for the cons. Tobey is an old man. I don't even know how old he was when he played Spider-Man. He looks 30. Like, sorry, but he's playing like a teenager in high school, and it just really like bothers me a lot, and it's like one of my least favorite parts about the movies. He's just so old. Peter and Mary Jane have literally no chemistry, and it's horrible, and I hate watching them interact because they simply have no chemistry. Obviously, these movies have worse effects since they were literally made in like the early 2000s, so he's my least favorite Peter Parker. I'm sorry, I know everyone loves him because he was like the original, but it's just like the way that he plays him, it makes me so uncomfortable and he's like kind of creepy. And he's like playing him as a nerd, but like in a weird, uncomfortable way. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But he's my least favorite. Spider-Man 3. Need I say more? Actually, I think I will. It's just like a bad movie, you know? It's all over the place, and the villains are all over. There's literally like three villains, or like maybe more than that. I don't even know. You know what? Speaking of those villains, here they are. Alright, we got Green Goblin. He floats on a hoverboard and he wears a green suit and he's super funky and he will be in Spider-Man No Way Home. Dr. Octopus, personally one of my favorites, if not my favorite villain. He's super cool. He has like basically metal octopus arms that like go and grab stuff. And he's also in Spider-Man No Way Home. Next we got Sandman. Pretty self-explanatory. He's simply a man that is made out of sand. And he is in Spider-Man No Way Home as well. Next we got New Goblin. He's Green Goblin's son. And he's a little rat. And he's not in No Way Home. And then there's Venom, but like not the good Venom. Just like the cringy weird Venom that was in this movie that was not good. And thank God he's not going to be in No Way Home. The other Venom might be, who knows, but this one is not. Moving right on to Andrew Garfield, who I love. He played Peter Parker, Spider-Man in like 2012, and I love him. So here are the pros. Best chemistry compared to Peter and Mary Jane from the original Spider-Man movies. He and Gwen, played by Emma Stone, are just so superior. I love them. I love Andrew's version of Peter. I think he plays him just like so well, and he actually looks young, so it's like nice and like fun. I really like the soundtrack, and this includes all the electro dubstep. I like the electro dubstep. Get over it. I love the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, and this is a spoiler, so warning. But Gwen dies basically, and she falls from a clock tower and she dies. And as sad as it was, I literally sobbed, but I loved it because it shows that, like, in superhero movies, so many people don't die. And I'm like, how are y'all surviving this? It just made it feel much more, like, realistic. Okay, next for the cons. Or should I say, con, singular. Okay, so literally the only problem I could think of is that it's sometimes rushed, or, like, the pacing or whatever is kind of weird. Specifically thinking about in Spider-Man or The Amazing Spider-Man 2, when he, like, at the end, it's just sort of weird, like, after Gwen dies, some weird stuff happens, like, with Rhino, I don't know, that's my only complaint. Okay, now for the villains. Okay, first we got Lizard. He's basically just a big lizard who goes around doing stuff, and he is in No Way Home, so we will be seeing him. Next we got Electro. I love Electro. He basically just has the power of electricity, and he has some really cool scenes, and he is in No Way Home, and I'm really excited to see him. And next we have Green Goblin, which you might be like, that sounds a little familiar, but it's not the same Green Goblin from Tobey's movies. It's a different one, and it's worse. So, yeah. Finally, we have Tom, the man, the myth, the legend. The star of No Way Home. He is the most recent Spider-Man. He's part of the MCU. We love him. And yeah. So the first pro is simply just that, like, he nails the role. He's very clear about the fact that he just loves Spider-Man and loves playing him. And he just plays the, like, nerdy teenager role so well. Next, we just have the vibes. I don't know, I just love the vibes of his movies. It's just like the soundtrack and just like the montage scenes. It's like they could be like standalone movies that are just like teenage, like high school movies. I just love them. Okay, so plot twists. I'd say both of his movies have pretty cool plot twists. Like in the first one, it's revealed that Vulture is Liz's dad. And then the second one, the whole thing at the end where Mysterio reveals his identity. Kind of cool. Love them both. Cute romance. Great villains. I think Vulture is great. Very scary. And then Mysterio is also great. I love the plot twist of him becoming evil. That was cool. And he's played by the scumbag, Jake Gyllenhaal. Sorry, Jake. Okay, now for the cons of his movies. There's no swinging around the city. I mean, there's like some at the end of Far From Home, but it's just not enough. And, it's just like a staple in Andrew's movies and Tobey's movies that there's like a lot of scenes of them just swinging around the city. And I think especially since it's like newer CGI stuff, they could like really make a really good scene with cool CGI. So I think they should do that. Why Tony? So this was mainly a problem that I had in the first one, not the second one for obvious reasons. But Tony was just like very much a plot in the movie, and I thought we just needed a little less Tony. Of course, I'm referring to Tony Stark, Iron Man. He just had like a weird role in the movie, and I wish it was just Spider-Man's movie, Get out of here, Tony. So I'm actually not going to talk about Tom's villains just because I already kind of talked about them, and they don't really matter for No Way Home since they're not coming back like the other ones are. So, yeah. But the final thing I want to talk about is just basic stuff you need to know in preparation for No Way Home, because obviously, like, all of this, but then also, so, like, obviously it's been rumored that Andrew and Tobey are going to be in it, and they're gonna help Tom's Peter Parker help fight all these villains that are like, from all their different universes. So that's the rumor. Don't know if it's actually gonna happen or what, but that's what I think is gonna happen. And also just like leading up to No Way Home, the only plot thing you need to know is that Mysterio has revealed his identity to the world, and so everyone's like, oh my god, this kid is Spider-Man. And Mysterio also framed him, so it looks like he did some bad stuff, but he didn't. He's just lying. And so, yeah, it's really putting Peter in a tough spot. So, that's all you need to know. Anyway, bye.